Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's the penultimate episode of the first season of Star Trek Picard, episode number 9, which is in Latin. The title is basically in Latin, and I'm trying to butcher it as much as I can. Sorry, I don't speak Latin. It's Et in Arcadia Ego, which the translation in English is even in Arcadia, there I am. And here, Arcadia is basically refers to a utopian location, a utopian land. Excuse me. And the I over here basically means death. So basically it's saying even in a utopia there is still death. What an amazing episode. However, I do have my problems with it. So that's the way that this, I think if we're going to call New Trek starting from 2009, my problems with New Trek are several. A lot more than I have with the older series, but what I'm going to say is, of course, Picard has been my most favorite about all this stuff. Even though it had a very slow start to it, it has picked up quite a bit. I'll have to say that there are a couple of things. There are a lot of, before I say that, there are a lot of really good things about this episode, but there are a few things that actually stick with me, which prevents me from actually enjoying this as much as I should have had it been a standalone series, not related to Star Trek, but because there's a lot of canon, there's a lot of expectations that we have with Star Trek, thereby you have some problems and you start nitpicking all those things. I'm afraid I'm a Trekkie, die-hard Trekkie, so that's the reason why I have these problems. Still, it is a really, really good, awesome episode. And it had a couple of things that I did not expect. Anyway, so when we start with this episode, the La Sirena is going through the Borg transport conduit en route to this these are all names. Vayat sector in the Golian system, which is where the planet of the two red moons are. And they're going through it. There's a lot of turbulence. Once they reach there, the planet is called Coppelius. And you finally find that see that Agnes is thrilled at the prospect of not having to go to prison immediately at Deep Space 12. She actually asks, "Am I not go to prison?" Once they get there, they're all excited to actually go down to the planet. However, the red alert starts bleeping, because the Romulan scout ship with Narek in it has reached up to them, and there is a dogfight in space, which probably is one of the best space fights I've seen in a long time. So that's another positive thing. So like I said, the series has picked up quite a bit. So both the ships are a little bit damaged. However, Narek seems to have the upper hand. However, boom comes from another Borg conduit. The Borg cube with 7 of 9, the XBs, and Elnor. So they are basically coming to protect Picard's ship, our hero ship. When suddenly from the planet there are these things that suddenly creep up. A planetary defense mechanism kind of thing that looks like best described as flowers or orchids, and they come up, they grab themselves onto the two spaceships and the Borg cube, and they bring them down, kind of like a crash landing onto the surface of the planet. So the power goes out on both ships. Picard has he collapses. He has a brief. He sensed something, so I'm kind of thinking it's got to do with his illness, with his disease. He blacks out, and when he wakes up, Jurati is scanning him because there's no power. She's using an old tricorder, which is a great thing to see from Star Trek of old. And she's able to detect the fact that he is dying, and then there is a sad moment exchange between both of them where Picard is like, "Hey, I already know, and I've kind of accepted it," and she's like sad to see that he is going to die pretty soon. So once they're able to get out from the ship, they see that there's damage, but it's Rio says it's minimal damage, so he's able to fix it. However, what their point is, they need to get to the ball cube first. They go to the ball cube, they meet up with 7 and 9, they meet up with Elnor. I'm going to try and go through this as quickly as I can. And there's a brief reunion with Elnor and Picard. However, Picard tells him to stay on the ball cube and help 7 of 9 and the XBs get the ship back up and running. There is a scene when they actually get to the ball cube, Picard and the others see the XBs first, and they call him Locutus, and there is a brief moment when I think, oh crap, something else is going to happen. But no, it's just that they probably know him more from the Borg collective mind that this is Locutus of Borg, he was Locutus of Borg. So, however, that seems to be something that kind of stunned Picard, as it did me at the same time. So the Borg cube needs a lot of repair. They're working on it, so they say their goodbyes. Elnor is told to stay with 7 of 9 and help her and the XBs. And it's a sad thing. So Elnor doesn't want to leave Picard once again, but Picard tells him he's very proud of him. However, he's needed more on the Borg cube rather than where they're going. And 7 of 9 tells him, keep continuing saving the galaxy. And when Picard turns around and tells her, that's more your thing to do now, and there's almost like a passing of the torch. Dare I say it? And a lot of fans have been wanting this. Will they actually make a spin-off series starring 7 of 9? I would love to see that. More than the Section 31 series that's planned, more than anything else. They currently have planned. I would want a different, crew in space and all that stuff, like something like the Enterprise, a different ship altogether, but with Starfleet moving on. But hey, if you're going to get something in this thing, I would rather have something along these lines. I would rather have the 7 of 9 story. Anyhow, so our gallant crew, led by Picard, they all get towards the... so Narek is kind of lost in this plot at the moment, but they walk and get their way to the... how will I explain it? It's kind of like an oasis in a desert. It's a futuristic monastery kind of thing. It's like huge buildings and all that stuff. Minimalistic decor and all that. And you see a lot of people, a lot of synthetics. A lot of them like Soji. When I say that, they basically are the same as Soji, and you see mostly it's twins. So they get to see them. All of them are doing this kind of like a Tai Chi thing. If you're familiar with Star Trek, the Next Generation, Worf teaches a class on something that looks like Tai Chi mixed with yoga, or martial arts mixed with yoga, something like that. Whatever it is. They seem to be doing that. The place is kind of like beautiful. It's a lot of plants and a lot of flowers, and it's like there's a garden along with these buildings, and it's kind of like a nice tranquil atmosphere. And then they meet the androids, and one of them names Arcana. The actress's name is Jade Ramsey. Oops. Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry, I got a phone call in between. I had a delivery coming over. Anyhow. So, where was I? Yeah, so they basically see all these synths, kind of like Soji and Arcana, who is one of the androids played by Jade Ramsey. She greets them, she welcomes them, and says, welcome back to Soji. And then Soji starts introducing all her friends. And then they seem to have a fascination with Captain Picard, especially the fact that he is much older, seems to have a lot of lines on his face. And most of these people are younger looking people, younger looking synths, more tan, more fit and all that kind of stuff. And they seem to be wearing these kind of robes that, for me, reminds me a lot of some of the TOS era. When you ever see a planet of aliens that look kind of like humans itself, but they're supposed to be aliens, and you see these long flowing tunics and stuff. I think even in TNG, there's a few episodes where they show some aliens dressed like that. I mean, it's kind of like pretty common. But Yeah, kind of elaborate. And then they asked them about so they, like I said, they're really fascinated with seeing. They call him as Captain Picard. They know him. They're aware of his reputation and all that stuff. They start talking, and suddenly you see a very familiar face. Comes and greets, and it's none other than Brett Spiner. However, he isn't playing Data. He is playing Dr. Alton oh my lord, these names are very difficult. Dr. Alton Sung, I'm going to stop it at that. It's Inigo Sung, I guess. And he's supposed to be the son of Dr. Noonien Sung. But wait, there is possibly a twist over here. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, so Dr. Sung claims to be the son of Dr. Noonien Sung, the creator of Data and Lore and Before. And we talk about also, you get to see Brett Spiner without the makeup, older man, of course. I think he's 70 now, I'm not really sure, but yeah, probably he is around 70. But I always love seeing Brett Spiner. I haven't seen too much of his stuff outside of Star Trek, other than his 2 appearances in Independence Day and the Independence Day sequel, Independence Day Resurgence, or whatever it's called. It's a bad movie, but I like seeing Brett Spiner in it. So I haven't really seen him in much stuff, but I love seeing him in anything. I've seen him in the appearance he's made in The Big Bang Theory and stuff like that. So they start talking, and he's tells him about the fact that my father created Data and all that stuff. So they start talking to Soji, tell him about what happened. Of course, they have to explain about the death of Bruce Maddox, who he and Sung were the co-founders of this particular place. So he's a friend and co-worker, so he's saddened about it. And then we see another android who is another synth rather. You can call them androids, who appears to be just like Soji, but she's got more golden colored skin, kind of like Data. And she initially meets Picard first while Picard is having a drink of water, and she greets him, and then he turns around and says, of course. And then it's the same actress who's portraying Soji, but of course she plays a different character. She's playing Sutra, who is the sister to Jana. Yana was the synth who met up with Captain Rios when he was on the Ibn Majid, and who was killed at point blank range by his former captain. So Rios is also a little bit stunned over there. So Sutra seems to be kind of like the sort of a leader kind of role over here, and she also seems to have a lot of abilities. She's very confident about herself, so she builds a case for the admission. She wants to see what Soji saw. So she says it's kind of traumatic, but at the same time Soji is willing to do it because she feels very bad about having killed her former lover and mentor. Excuse me while I crack open a beer. So she is really, she knows it's going to be tough, but at the same time she wants to help. And apparently Sutra has, like it's explained by Dr. Sung, she studied Vulcan culture a lot, and she was fascinated by them, and so therefore she has also mastered the method of mind melding. So there's that. So I think that was a plot that, so they had to kind of write it in. Anyway, I'll tell you what I feel about that in another video. Alright, as I pour my beer. This is a woodpecker beer, by the way, just in case anybody wants to know. There we go, that's the logo. It's a wheat beer, local Indian made. Anyhow, we're not here to talk about beer. However, but it's a hot night and I do want something cool to drink. So she's got these Vulcan characteristics. So, however, she doesn't really suppress her emotions or anything like that. But one of her special skills is to mind meld. So she mind melds with Soji, and she sees the scenes in the admonition. However, she's able to explain to them that the admonition is not a warning for. She's got an alternate theory that the admonition is not actually a warning for here for organic life, it's actually an invitation to synthetic life. So apparently, this ancient race of synths are, this ancient aliens are supposed to be an ancient alien race of synths, and they know that, and their experience, that organic life tends to suppress inorganic life like synths once they reach a certain point in their evolutionary change. So once they go beyond a particular threshold, which is the one that we've talked about previously, they know that that organics will get worried and will get threatened, and they will try to wipe out synthetic life as much as possible. However, it's an invitation to synthetic life to contact them, and they will come and wipe out all organic life in that particular area. So we don't really know where they are from, but I'm assuming they're not from from our galaxy. There must be an ancient race of synths that can travel far distances very quickly. So this is that's on their mind. So now things kind of change a little bit, and even though Agnes is a little bit traumatized, it isn't as bad as it was when she first saw it. So there is a dialogue line that says, "Life begins a dance of division and replication. Imperfect, finite, organic life evolves yearned for perfection, and then they create synthetics, and then your evolution will be their extinction." So that's what the alien race has promised synthetic life all throughout the universe. On Sung's laboratory, you see Agnes speaks to him about the death of Maddox, and you see that he's working on something called as a mind transfer, and I'm not really sure where they're going to go with this, but there is a synthetic body that is lying over there, and he's talking to about this, that he's a lot more interested in this particular field of science because he realizes that he himself is aging and might not be around for too long. And he says Maddox was the one behind the creation. Sung just used to make the bodies. The rest of the stuff was very difficult for him to do, so Maddox was the genius brain behind it, and he is a little saddened about the death of Maddox. Then they cut to a scene where Narek is dragged through the compound because they've found him, and then they say they put him into a holding cell, basically with a force field to ensure that he doesn't come out. Meanwhile, Rios goes to try and fix the La Serena. Agnes says she wants to stay back and help him with this project. Picard also is staying back, and he's trying to contact. Raffi joins Rios as well. Picard stays back and says he's going to try and contact the Starfleet. Sorry, he's going to try and contact Starfleet. And there is a tender moment between Raffi and Picard. Even though she's shown that she's got a lot of anger and build-up, she is fond of him. She has got a lot of affection for him, and she knows now that he's dying. And I think it's a very sweet moment. It's probably my favorite moment of Raffi at the time. She basically tells him that he loves him, and he's like, Raffi. Yeah, it's like kind of like he's admonishing her for saying that bit of affection, but a moment later he looks to her and says that he loves her too, and you can see that the emotion in her face. That was beautiful to see. So Narek is slumped as well. He was injured. He's tended to. One of the androids named Saga, played by Nikita Ramsey, gets him water, and before she tries to get him water, Soji comes and says not to give it to him. Narek tries to talks to Soji, but she's not willing to listen to what he's got to say. And she goes and talks to Picard. However, now a little later we hear a scream, and Soji has killed the synth Saga, who was basically looking after him when maybe she tried to lower the force field and give him some food and water. He stabbed her in the eye, and she dies, and he escapes. So Sutra basically is now going to take over as the leader. Picard tries to, she basically says, she rallies everyone and says that the humans or the organics are basically, the Romulans is just a day away, so she knows what's going to come. So they're saying that they're going to hunt us and kill us. And then having seen about this particular admonition, she wants to contact the alien race so that they can come to the rescue. And then Sung comes in as well. They're saying that those beings have been there always watching them. So Sutra says that Dr. Sung and she has created a beacon to summon them. So they're going to start transmitting it before the Romulans arrive, and then their purpose is to seek out advanced synthetic life and kill out all the organics who seemingly oppress them. So that's going to be something to watch out for. Picard tries his best to convince them. Says that he will be. He says he's got a ship. Once it is fixed, he can take everybody. There's enough space for all of them to take, and he says he will protect them, and he will be their advocate to Federation and tell them to repel the ban and all that stuff. But they say like it didn't work before. Sung also sides with Sung, tells him like it didn't work before, so you're not going to be able to do it now. And basically they put him under house arrest. And so we just got a day before the 24 hours basically before the Romulans come in. Who is going to be coming in? We don't really know anything about the alien race. Now there have been some theories. I don't want to go too much into it, but some people say it could be an advanced version of the Borg, or it could be the machine planet or the synthetic planet that was mentioned in the movie. Star Trek 1, the motion picture, the one that fixed up Ouija and sent it back on its path to Earth. We're not really sure. We don't really know what's happening. The last scene that we see in this is the Romulan Commander O heading out with her fleet to this planet, and we will get to see what happens in the finale. And I am quite excited about what's going to happen. There were a few things that I did not like. Like I said, I'm not really sure how. I probably will be able to appreciate the show more once I watch the finale and then go back and rewatch it again somewhere down the line. And but the last few episodes have been pretty good. So don't really know what's going to happen in the finale. So I'm really excited. I will give this episode a. I think I'm going to have to give this episode a 9 out of 10. It's pretty awesome. It really sticks in the memory. Even though, like I said, there are some things that I'm not really fond of in this particular thing, but overall, I think it was pretty good. So 9 out of 10 for me, and I cannot wait for the finale. Take care, guys. Stay safe in the time of Corona, and I hope that I will be working from home starting sometime next week. We had hoped that it would start on Monday, but it looks more like Thursday or something like that for me. So anyway, take care, guys. Peace.